Hello, everyone. Welcome. Bear with me 1 minute, please. Okay, I'm live. Awesome. Just bear with me 1 moment, please. Just stand by 1 minute while I just get everything all sorted. I will tag everyone in the group. And hopefully we can begin. Beautiful. Hello. Hi, Claire. See, you're here with me live. This is going to be a great session today. Welcome, everybody. I wanted to first of all say thank you so much for your flexibility yesterday. I had a little chuckle. I'm like, everything that I do in my business is often accompanied by, well, not everything, but, like a big launch, and there'll be something that happens, like a kid will get sick or something will go down. Interesting. Anyway, I see someone's joined me in the waiting room. So I'm just going to tag her here and just say, Brenda, please join me here. Hey, bear with me 1 minute. Brenda, please join us here. There we go. All righty. So I'm just going to cancel that. Hopefully I can remove her from the waiting room. Okay, beautiful. All righty, let's go. Let's get into it. Hi, Mona. Look, he's okay. It's just a cold. It's a head cold that hasn't been able to shift. He's a lot better today, thankfully. But yeah, it always seems to be the way, I don't know. I guess it's just the juggle. I mean, right now I have my toddler asleep in the other room. I'm fingers crossed he's going to stay asleep. So I can't speak, I can't get too excited with my tempo and my the sound quality of my voice today. Anyway, welcome today. Well, this officially day 4. It's session 3 of the Writers Festival. Please, as you're joining me, say hello. Let me know that you're here. If you're catching the replay, pop a hashtag replay into the comments so that we know that you are joining. We know that you've joined us and you can kind of energetically connect into this field. Hi, Helen. Not a worry at all, my love. The replays will be available for another week after the conclusion of the festival. So that's totally fine. So we've covered quite a bit of ground over this week. And today we're going to be delving into one of my favorite topics. Well, they're kind of like all my favorite topics, really, let's be honest. However, this one in particular is absolutely one of my favorite topics. Hello, Brenda. Welcome. Hello, Sandy. I see you're here too. This is the art of sacred storytelling. So I hope that you've been enjoying what I've been delivering, what I've been putting down over the last 4 days. We looked first of all at the body, at activating creativity through the body. And then we looked at opening up wide the channel so that we can receive higher levels of creative guidance, not just creative guidance, intuitive guidance, using the medium of automatic writing. And I shared with you some really beautiful tools to help you with your automatic writing, and why I love to automatic write, and why I love to talk to my authors about this for the purpose of getting them out of their head. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be coming into the heart. So this is the heart of sacred storytelling, and why I believe it's so important. I'm going to be talking about the power of storytelling, and I have some notes over to the left here, or the right for you. So I will be sort of slightly looking over here. However, sacred storytelling, why I believe it's so important is because your story is your gold. It is absolutely your gold. From an alchemical perspective, especially when we talk about the things that you've transformed, the traumas, the pain, the metals that you've transformed into gold, metaphorically speaking, and also from a frequency perspective as well. Why? Because your soulmate clients, especially if you work in the realm of, if you are what I call a soulful entrepreneur, meaning the work you do in your business is your soul's work and you couldn't imagine doing anything else. It's the reason why you're here on the planet doing what you do. And pop a yes if that's me, pop yes, that's me into the comments so that I can see if you resonate with that. Yes, that's me, if you consider yourself to be a soulful entrepreneur. And if that is the case, well, then your journey here in this lifetime, this is my perspective, okay? Your journey in this lifetime has been beautifully guided beautifully, divinely orchestrated to support your experience of very particular things, soul lessons, if you will. And the things that have happened to you over your lifetime, Brenda says, yes, that's me. Yes, Helen, absolutely. The things that have happened to you over your lifetime have divinely guided you to this point right now, facilitating the work you facilitate with the kinds of people that you work with. And why I say storytelling is important from a frequency perspective is because most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, your people are on a very similar journey to you, but there are a few stages before, a few steps before you. And so having this, like going through this journey of kind of looking at your life as if it's a tapestry, you imagine, like, what would the tapestry of your life look like? Well, that's a question. But your tapestry, your tapestry that is your life is made up of lots of different threads that connect to form one picture. And if you think about the individual threads that come together to create your story, you can look at it from a storytelling perspective like this. I call these the golden threads that connect your experience and the things that you've moved through in your life with the work you do in your business currently, the transformation you facilitate, and the people that you work with. And when we can uncover these golden threads and learn how to share them in a way that is through the lens of sacred storytelling, through the communication form of storytelling, whether it's written or verbal, well, of course, today we're going to be delving into a written aspect of it, but it's absolutely a verbal thing as well. When you learn how to share this from the heart with vulnerability, then everything changes in your business and you start to attract, you start to magnetize towards you the right kinds of people because they resonate with your story. And of course, there's ways to write your story to ensure that you're speaking to a higher level person and that you're speaking to someone who's in the state of empowerment. But what we're going to be delving into today is like this notion that the golden threads that connect your story and the things that the alchemical expression of your journey with the work you currently facilitate in your business is very, very powerful. So when we're talking storytelling, I like to think of your story as your personal mythos, your personal mythology, your personal archetypal experience upon this planet in this lifetime in 3D form. And if we're talking mythology and mythos, we're often delving into the realms of the unconscious or the subconscious or the collective unconscious even. And we often are looking at archetypes. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this word, coined by Carl Jung, and the notion that an archetype is like a collective thought form, a collective motif that represents a particular kind of energy. So, for example, the archetype of mother has been one for me that has been incredibly powerful, incredibly profound. If you read my reading of my younger self, of the Younger Self Letters chapter that I recorded yesterday into the group, you would have heard that, right? The impact that stepping into the archetype of mother has had on my life. There's so many different archetypes. And, you know, one of the really beautiful things that I love to do when I'm working with mythos, I have a number of different cards that I like to use. So this is a Caroline Myss. It's all back to front, the archetype cards. And the second one here is this beautiful one, the Wild Unknown archetype cards. So I'll often work with these with my authors and personally as well to find, this one in particular is a really powerful deck. Goes through, like, I think there's like 74 different archetypes that it goes through. And there's a powerful process you can do where you kind of find the archetypes that represent your life's mythology and represent your experience upon this world, right? So when we're looking at it from an archetype or looking at your life from an archetypal perspective, we are really looking at what I call your personal mythology, your personal mythos. And we can really see here the core archetypal themes that have been that have formed the powerful tectonic plates that have underpinned your life's journey. Sometimes those tectonic plates come together and they're stable and they form, you know, really powerful foundations. Other times, and this is especially the case when we're delving into the shadow, the archetypes of the shadow, those tectonic plates will shift and move and like butt up against each other, sometimes causing explosions, sometimes causing fractures underneath. And we see this expression in our life as like threshold moments often, yeah, where like the rug is pulled out from underneath you. Or if you experience like, why does this thing keep happening? Why do I keep attracting this person, this kind of person into my life? Why do I keep having this same experience in my life? Often it's because there's an underlying archetypal energy that hasn't been integrated or hasn't been healed, that is like driven from the shadow, right? So being able to uncover all of the different archetypes that flow through your energetic expression into the world around you is incredibly important. And it's incredibly powerful from a storytelling perspective too, because we start, the cards are called archetype cards. Archetype cards, you can buy them online. Bronwyn, I'd highly recommend, especially because Bronwyn's joining us in the Threshold Project. Any of the Threshold authors, if you wanted to, it's not essential, but I would recommend them. They're powerful, powerful, powerful cards. We're going to be working with them a little bit, but I'll be kind of working with them from my end. So you don't need them, but if you feel like you would work with them, especially with your clients, then I would recommend them. So the archetypal expressions of your soul lessons, so to speak, can be powerful creative fuel, right? For example, what I could do is I'll show you how I like to use them from a personal creativity perspective. I might find a particular card. Let's see what it is. The Mystic. The Mystic. Light attributes, revels in intimate union with the divine. Shadow, delusional rapport with the divine. So what I can do is I can like meditate on this card, be like, okay, how is this expression, this archetype shown up for me in my life? And has it first of all shown up for me? And I feel like it has. There's definitely been times in my life when I've been on the path of the mystic. I've been on my spiritual journey, whether it's from a perspective of reveling in intimate union with the divine, or whether it's from a delusional perspective. I don't know. That would be a really interesting thing to ponder, a really interesting question to journal on. So this is how I like to use them, one way that I like to use them. But essentially, my point is that uncovering the key archetypal themes that have been very present for you throughout your life will help give you the story frame, like various frames that you can frame your storytelling experiences within. And the important thing here is like, this is the core, it's the core reasons that underpin why you do what you do, especially if you're in business, especially if you are in soulful business. Why do you do the work that you do? What has been your life experience that's guided you to do the work that you do? So some of you might know my personal experience here, my story with this. I share this quite a lot. I'll share it briefly now so that you can kind of have some context. I think it was in 2006 or 2007 was the year after I graduated school. That shows how I'm 34. The year after I graduated school, I was at university. I was studying politics. My dad was like, "You're going to be the next PM of Australia. I know it. You've got it in you." And I wanted to make my dad happy. So I enrolled into a politics degree at the Australian National University. One day I was on the bus home and I was driving over Lake Burley Griffin in Canberra, over past Parliament House, looking out at all of these people who were like, in my mind right then, they looked the same. And I had this moment where I was like seeing the two different timelines that I was, at the crossroads between. On one timeline, I was going to finish my politics degree. I was going to probably get a job in the public service in Canberra. I was most likely going to marry another public service man. I was probably going to buy a house. We were probably going to have children and we'd settle down, and I probably wouldn't leave Canberra very much. As I saw down that timeline in like a flash, I was like, I don't want that. That's not for me. I don't want to be a public servant. I'm not here to be a politician. I'm not here to toe the party line. And I went home and I told my parents that I was going to pull out from politics and I was going to go to South America. At the time, I'd been studying a lot about shamanism and about like indigenous cultures and plant medicine. And I was like, that's what I was passionate about. And so I told them, I'm going to quit uni and I'm going to go start traveling through South America. And they were like, what? You're going to do what? Anyway, fast forward 6 months, I'm sitting in South America in the Amazon. I've just completed an ayahuasca ceremony the night before. I'm sitting on the riverbank of the Amazon, looking around, being like, what the hell just happened last night? You know, receiving downloads after downloads after downloads, continuing on into the next day. And it's like flooding my system. And I can suddenly see this path that I was to walk. And it was going to be facilitating transformation. That's what I was told. I was like, I went to my first ceremony. I was like, please tell me what I'm here to do. What's my mission? What's my soul mission? And I received the words, you're here to be a catalyst for transformation. To which point I was like, what? What? Can you break it down? Can you give me a 3D example? I don't know. What do I do with that? And so the next day, it's like the seed was activated, you know, okay, I think I know what I'm, you know, going to do. And then I came back to Melbourne and I decided to study shiatsu, which is a bodywork type of bodywork and Chinese medicine. And my business took off from there. So for me, like that is an incredibly powerful story that I tell a lot. And also it gives an insight into my experience of why I'm in business and the crossroads the threshold point that I had been at. That's one powerful turning point in my life. If I hadn't have made that decision, I would have gone down a completely different trajectory, potentially. So it's very, very powerful to look back over your life and to find the turning points. And I often like to say 3 to 5, at least 3, the 3 turning points in your life that changed, that transformed you, that moved you onto the path that you now walk, that divinely guided you to make decisions, like, and then the dominoes kick in, right? The dominoes that take you on your journey. So what are your 3 turning points? The 3 turning points in your life that have divinely guided you to this point right here, right now, facilitating the transformation what you're facilitating with the kinds of people you are working with. And can you see the link between your story and the alchemical transformations that you've moved through as an individual, not as a professional or a therapist or an entrepreneur? I mean, it's all connected, obviously. And can you see the connection between what your soulmate clients are moving through and the things that they are alchemizing with your support? So when we understand this and we learn how to weave storytelling into our content, how to weave it into our communications, how to weave it into like the fabric of our visibility, everything changes. Why I love storytelling so much, first of all, it's free. You don't have to pay anyone. You can just show up and share your story. There's no marketing cost involved. Secondly, it connects people in their heart, moves them out of the logical brain, the logical left brain, into the heart, into the emotions, into the heart space. And this is important if you especially work with women, because we make emotional buying decisions, and we invest with people that we like. We invest with people that we resonate with. So we need to like create opportunities in your content through your writing to activate resonance. I'm there right now. That story that she shared, that's me. I'm experiencing that right now. How did you get to where you are How did you get to where you are now? I want to know, because I'm there right now. So finding these 3 turning points, right? Your story cannot be underestimated, the power and potency of your personal journey. So I'm going to have a look over here. And I guess it's an important question to ask. Do you believe that you have a powerful story to share? Do you believe that your story matters? that people can learn a lot from your journey. Because I tell you, some people come to me, especially for the publishing projects, and they're like, I really feel called to do this, but I don't know, my life has been kind of vanilla, kind of beige. My life has not been that crazy. Like, it's not been that interesting. I don't know what I would write about. That's a very powerful place to be, because we're coming in with a very open possibility, like opening the possibility that potentially your life has been far more interesting than you realize. And it doesn't have to be grand experiences of traveling overseas or, you know, like glamorous things or wild, adventurous things. It doesn't have to be that. It can simply be dialing into the power of the mundane, right? We spoke about that on day one, finding sacred creativity, sacred inspiration in the mundane experiences, in the everyday. It doesn't have to be big, bold, grand gestures or experiences that you write about. But in every single moment, there's opportunities for storytelling. If you choose to see that, if you choose to see your experience for what it is, which is inspiring to other people. So do you believe that your story matters, that you have a powerful story to share? I want you to pop yes into the comments if you do, or no into the comments if you don't believe that you do. Let me know. 7 people here. And are you really willing to share the stories that are being called to share? Like I spoke about yesterday and on Tuesday, there's certain stories from our life that we hold a lot of energetic tension around, and that often we feel, can't tell that, can't share that. What would happen if people were to find out about that? And in actual fact, this is the story that you must share, because the releasing of this story is the thing that's going to release that tension. It's going to release your personal power back into your system. And of course, there's often fear that comes with that, right? Like I in every single book project that I facilitate, I'll have people say, I'm afraid that by sharing this story, like I could be taken to court, or, you know, like it could have a ripple effect. Like, how do I hold that fear? And it's a really, really powerful question to ask. And for some people, it's a legitimate fear, especially people that have experienced physical trauma, or people that, you know, like that have actually experienced big, big, big things in their life. How do I share that safely? It starts with recognizing that, and it's like, even who, like, is this my story to even share, because it involves someone else? And to which I always say, it's your story, right? It's your story. As long as we are sharing through the lens of empowerment. And this is a really important thing to speak into today. When we're talking about really big, like, you know, shook me to the core moments, it can be very easy to see that experience through a lens of like disempowerment. But the question to ask is, what did I learn from that moment in time? Even if it was horrendous, what did I learn about myself? What did I learn about the nature of the universe, about the nature of spirituality, about God, source, the universe? Like, what did I learn? What was the gold in that experience? I'm still here. How have I alchemized that trauma, that experience in my life? And when we're writing our stories, when we're sharing sacred storytelling, sacredness, we're bringing sacredness, reverence into the experience. That's why I call it sacred storytelling, reverent storytelling, because your story is sacred. Your stories of alchemy, how you alchemized big things, grief, loss, pain, heartache, all of those stories. And it doesn't always have to be like big T trauma or little T trauma. Like, it can be beautiful moments in time, you know, going down to the beach and watching your little 2-year-old frolicking through the waves and the dolphins rising out. Like, that happened to us only the other day. You know, my little 2-year-old naked in the waves, like having the best time, and the sun was setting and it was a gorgeous sunset. And then all of a sudden, these dolphins just came leaping out of the waves. They were surfing the waves. And it was just like, is this happening? Is this real? beautiful moment in time, beautiful opportunity to share. And these experiences are happening around you every single day. Are you willing to say the things that people are thinking, but that no one is saying? Are you willing to share the story that is being asked to be shared, no matter how terrifying it might feel? Like I said the other day, so many times I've been about to hit publish on a post and my knees are shaking, they're knocking together under the desk. And I'm like, can I really say that? I don't know that I can. I have to cultivate the courage to be seen in my lived experience and the courage to be witnessed in my vulnerability. And this is where the power of vulnerability really comes into fruition, right? One of the greatest things that I've learned this year is the power of creating intimacy, the power of transparency. It's my life's work in the Gene Keys. Gene Key 59 moves from dishonesty into transparency, with the gift being intimacy. So, like, that's been a beautiful question that I've sat with this year. How can I be more intimate with my community? Where am I still being dishonest with myself? Where am I still not speaking potent truth? Where am I still sugarcoating? Where am I still not writing powerfully, potently? Like, I know I can take it deeper. I know I can take it into that deeper expression of truth, the tone of truth, like we spoke about the other day. And when I speak into that tone of truth, when I like really nail it and I get really potent and like precise with my words, it is the key that unlocks something in my soul, in my potential client's mind. And I'm not even saying this from the sales perspective. It's from the perspective of wanting to be a contribution to the planet, wanting to be a catalyst for transformation, desiring to be a catalyst for liberation and transformation. That my story is going to inspire and liberate another. And so this is true for every single person. And often it is part of the inner work that we need to go through in order to really see ourselves and our journey for what it is, without the filters of our negative self-talk or our mum or our dad's ear or our school teacher or our ex-boyfriend, like whoever's voice that is in your ear that says, you can't say that. Who are you to write that? Who are you to speak like that? Who are you to share that story? No one wants to hear that story. What's the point? They will try and keep you safe using a very old, outdated way of operating, because being vulnerable and like deepening into your intimacy with your visible public community, to the nervous system, if being vulnerable, if in the past you've been vulnerable and that has led to something bad happening, right now your nervous system potentially is running the belief that if I am vulnerable, I am in danger. So it's important to check that, because these are old programs that have been instilled in younger versions of us, potentially even intergenerational, potentially past life, right? I often do a lot with my authors around the witch wound, because it's in us, it's in our DNA, it's in our, especially if you come from, well, it's absolutely in our DNA. It's not about where you come from. It's also, I know that I've had past lives where I have been burned at the stake. I know it in my soul. I know it in my soul for being unique, for being a medicine woman, for being an empowered woman, for speaking my truth, right? So how do we alchemize that fear that if I say that, I'm going to get annihilated? And it's not logical. It doesn't exist in the logical brain. It's deep codes in the nervous system, in the amygdala, in the primal parts of the brain that hold us back from speaking up, that hold us back from being intimate, from being transparent, from being vulnerable, from sharing of ourselves, from like cracking open the armor and like bearing our soul to the world. That takes incredible courage. I feel the chapter I wrote in the Younger Self Letters was my version of that, one version of that. Like, yeah, I'm going to go there because I can't write anything else. Like, this is the thing I need to write for this book, no matter how fucking terrifying it is. I have to do it. So you will know within your soul that there is a certain story that is being called to be shared. There is a certain time in your life that desires to be expressed, or a younger version of you that experienced something and still holding on. Whether you publicly post it or not, the power of writing it and expressing it cannot be underestimated. The cathartic release. That's why I love so much the book projects that I facilitate. This is the core reason why I love them so much, because of the cathartic, alchemizing experience we can have when we write our story, when we write it consciously, when we write it sacredly, reverently, when we see the beautiful tapestry of our life and how it has divinely guided us to this point right now. And when we realize how powerful it is to share story, to inspire others, it's incredibly powerful. And when you publish that, it's a legacy that lives on after you die. Your words immortalized on a page, your story immortalized on a page. So some little tricks here, tricks of the trade. Don't go too much into the high level intensity and emotion. You can express, you can write about high intensity times, and you can write it in a way that isn't like airing your dirty laundry, right? That's not like coded in victim energy, in disempowered energy. And it's one thing that I will be looking for. I look for this with my authors when I read their chapters, to make sure that it is written with as much empowered foundation as possible, because you want your reader to leave feeling something. Ideally, you want them to leave feeling like they've learned something, or they've seen themselves in your story, or you've you've alchemized something within them. And I like to say this because it's important, right? It's really important that we are looking back through the lenses of empowerment, and we are expressing the story through the lens of empowerment. What did you learn about that experience? And it's an important one if you're creating storytelling content. It's important that you're not just creating storytelling content for the sake of it, right? Just to be witnessed and to be heard. Yes, absolutely, you can do that. I shouldn't say don't do that. You absolutely can do that. You can do that all you like. But what I've found to be the most powerful what rounds out a story is to think, why am I sharing this story with my people? What's the purpose of me sharing this? Is it to teach something? Is it to teach, like to showcase a moral, something that I learned that's important for my clients to know? That's like a mindset shift that I went on that transformed everything that I am initiating within them now. Why am I sharing this story? Why is this particular story important to my soulmate client? A before and after is always a really beautiful one. Here I was 5 years ago. 4 years ago, I was on the bathroom floor ready to end my life. Here I am now. I'm the CEO and founder of a multi-six-figure publishing company. What? Like, you know, the younger version of me would have had no idea, would not have even believed that that would have been possible. But the alchemy that I went through, excuse me, I always get an itchy nose when I go live. I don't understand why. The alchemy that I've experienced has been very much the journey that my clients go through as well. Okay, so I'm going to circle back around. I know that we've had about maybe 8 or 9 people that have written their shook me to the core moment. I honor you for actually doing the thing, putting pen to paper and finding the words for an experience in time that you thought maybe you could never find the words to describe that. Very, very powerful. I have loved reading all of your stories. I have loved reading them so much. If you have not done that, if you do anything in the 5 days with me, please let it be that. Please let it be that. Because it's all one thing to take in this sort of information and like let it percolate around your mind. It's another thing to draw it down and to actually embody it into the 3D reality that you live in. So absolutely do that. And most importantly, the invitation is to begin a consistent writing practice. If you are going on this journey of identifying as a writer, you want to be writing on a daily basis if you can. And like, it's not even if you can, you find the time, you create the time. Even if it's just 15 minutes, you create the time, you prioritize it because you understand how important it is for you. And you write for you. You're not writing for anyone else. This isn't a performative experience. This is the art and craft of writing for the soul. You may become very inspired about content or offerings as you develop your writing practice. That happens to me all the time. I'll sit down and do my channeling or my journaling, and I'll be like, need to talk about that. Bam, that's an amazing idea for a program. Like, I've opened the channel and then the ideas flood through. It's phenomenal how it happens. I get given titles for books. I get given concepts for programs. Like we spoke about on Tuesday, tap into the frequency of my soulmate client, and I hear the things that they really need me to say, that they desire for me to say. It's like, what's the tone of truth here? So that happens when we open our channel and when we make a writing practice an actual daily practice. So what I would love for you to think about off the back of this session, what are the 3 turning points, the 3 experiences? Like, cast your mind back over your life as if you're kind of looking at it from a bird's eye view, and find the top 3 life-changing events that helped you become the woman you are today, that set you on the course to doing the work that you facilitate now. And I want you to explore the golden threads. What's the theme from that story? So with my story that I shared about dropping out of university and going to South America and how that changed my life, like, the key theme there is the power of like listening to and following my intuition and taking action steps in alignment with what I feel to be true for me, even if everyone thinks that it's crazy. That has been a key theme for me throughout my whole life, which is why the Mystic card that came up before is very pertinent. I feel that's very connected to that. So find the highly emotive experiences, the experiences that moved you deeply, whether positive or negative, it doesn't matter. And I want you to extract the story within that. And here's a great little trick that you can do. You can find the story and you can give it a movie title to help you remember it. So what would be the movie title from that experience, from that story? And a movie title that's like captivating, so that whenever you're thinking about a story to share, and I do this with all of my one-on-one clients as well, it's very powerful to cast your mind over your life and find like 10 to 20 different stories, give them a movie title, and then go through, just jot down the sequence of events. This happened, then that happened, then this happened, then that happened, and this is what I learned. So that you're clear in your mind. And then these stories, they become like beautiful, I always imagine them like beautiful jewels on a necklace, that you can take one and you can be like, okay, this story is very connected to this thing that I'm doing over here. I'm going to share this story, and then I'm going to connect it to this thing that I'm doing here, because it's very intimately connected. And when you create this way, when you communicate this way, especially inside of your business, like, I'm sure you know someone, maybe you follow, maybe they're a mentor, but they share stories beautifully. They teach through story. How captivated are you when you listen to them speak or when you read their words? It's magnetizing, it's magnetic, right? You want to know. And that's because storytelling is in our blood, it's in our DNA. Way back before we had Hollywood, before we had movies, before even the printing press, we would gather in tribes around the fire and we would share stories together and we would teach through storytelling. It's in our DNA. The other aspect of this as well is if you look at the hero's journey, right? Which is Joseph Campbell, the mythologist, the Jungian mythologist, coined this term, the monomyth, or the hero's journey, which is like the one primary story theme, story pathway that the majority of stories follow. It's very famous. And it's like the hero sets out on a great adventure. Here's a call to action. That was me on the bus, I don't want to fucking do this. I don't want to live that life. That's not me. I'm not here to do that. They set out on a great adventure. They often meet a mentor along the way. This is very briefly, you can explore it more deeply. They meet a mentor along the way. They are heralded, they're called to adventure. When they're on that adventurous path, something happens. And they usually, it's often described this way, like this. Okay, back to front. The hero sets out on the journey, right? Here's the call to adventure. Meets a mentor along the way. Something happens. They have to usually fight there's usually some sort of battle, whether that's like the dragon in the den, or fucking Luke Skywalker battling the other guy with the thing. I don't watch Star Wars, but you know what I mean. Or Harry Potter battling Voldemort, right? Often it might be an external thing, or it might be an internal battle, or it might be a battle within, like with society, or it might be a mindset that they need to overcome, or an addiction that they need to overcome. But they descend into the underworld, where they have to fight the battle, where they have to experience overcoming this big thing. And then they come back up to the top, usually higher than before, with great wisdom to share with their community. Very powerful framework. And so often when we're talking from a content or from a branding perspective, two ways of looking at it here with your business. The first one is a personal storytelling post where you are the hero and you're sharing, or the heroine, and you're sharing your experience of descending into the proverbial underworld to overcome and alchemize something important within you or externally around you. Maybe it be a parent, a dynamic with a parent, or something with a past lover, or like a societal programming that you're butting up against, right? And you're alchemizing. And then you've personally alchemized that. You're sharing your story of alchemizing that. And then your story of how you rose like the phoenix from the ashes and you rose back out the other end, here to share your wisdom with your people. So that's one version of this story, how you can use it in your content. Another version is that you write the story where your soulmate client is the hero and you are the mentor that they meet along the journey, right? So your soulmate client, here's a call to adventure. I don't want to live this way anymore. I desire to live in a completely different way. I want to transform my life, especially if you work in the field of transformation. I don't want to experience these health problems anymore. I desire to experience a life like this, right? And so they hear the call to adventure, and then you are the mentor and you are guiding them through the experience of personal alchemy, through the transformation journey. And then you can do this as well with testimonials and case studies too. So when you start to see like the framework of what makes a really powerful story, and the power of the monomyth or the hero's journey is that we have become so used to hearing it, reading it, seeing it in movies that it's familiar. It feels like I know this. This is in my DNA. But having a framework like that can really help you to construct a powerful story. So pick 3 stories, 3 moments in time from your life. Give them a movie title, jot down the sequence of events, and then find the one that you would like to explore, that you would like to write about. And especially if you are in business, I know there's a few people here who aren't in business, but if you are in business and you're wanting to create a story that's going to, like magnetize the right kind of people, magnetize interest in your work, you want to make sure you're finding the golden thread that connects the experience that you're describing in the story with the work you currently facilitate now and the transformational results that you facilitate and the soulmate clients that you work with. So for example, my story about setting off on a great adventure, learning how to trust my intuition, changing changing direction in my life. The way I connect that is like, this is the power of following your intuition. This is the power of moving when you're called to. This is the power of listening to your internal GPS. And this is what I do with my clients. I teach them how to live like this. I teach them how to listen to their intuition. I teach them how to create a business that is deeply connected to their soul, deeply connected to their soul mission, deeply connected with their spirit team, deeply connected with their ancestral DNA and their past life experience, bringing everything in to the table. So that's like the golden thread that connects this for me. Is this landing? Can you give me a yes in the comments if this is landing for you? So the questions are, what have my life's experiences been guiding me to know, to do, or to embody? What story is being called to be shared? What turning point story is being called to be shared? And how does my story connect to the transformation I facilitate for my clients? What's the moral from that story? And how does that connect? How does that like blend in and activate and inspire my soulmate clients at this stage of the journey right now where they're at? I hope that makes sense. And it's about writing consistently, blending it with a daily practice, creating it as a daily practice, like actively opening your channel to receive that which is desiring to come through you. Like your creative desires and the inspirations that you have, they want you just as much as you want them. But often we block ourselves from receiving them, or we receive them, but we don't bring them all the way down and embody them and actually like birth them into 3D reality. My real gift is to bring high level concepts or high level ideas and support my people to birth them in 3D reality. It's like the powerful manifestation process, whether that's through a book, whether that's through a program, like a business offering, whether that's through an entirely new business. Yeah, I'll pop them in the group. But it's like, let's bring it and birth it into reality. Otherwise, your ideas, your beautiful inspirations, they just stay here. And the world doesn't get to experience your genius, your story, your lived experience. So this is why I call it sacred storytelling, because it's sacred, it's reverent. There is a quiet, humble reverence that comes when we realize how powerful our journey is. And, you know, like as ambitious women, we're often so busy looking to the next thing, looking to the next up level or the next income goal or the next pivot or the next business opportunity. And that mindset where we're always projecting forward, that often inseminates imposter syndrome, because it's like always to the next thing. And I can never really like appreciate how far I've come. One of the most powerful ways that I help my clients to overcome imposter syndrome is to support them to look back. Look at how far you've come. And one of the things that I've noticed with the book projects that every single person says, whether like even before we're talking external tangible results, is I feel more confident. I feel more empowered. I feel more grounded. I feel like I'm more in my body, in my expression, in my personal power, because I've spent that time looking back to see how far I've come and to find the story that's desiring to be shared and then to fucking share it with the world. It's a pretty big thing when you think about it. So that's really it for today. I think all of my sessions so far have been 50 minutes, 5 minutes over. My apologies. Please, if there's any questions, I'd love for you to pop it into the Facebook thread. I'll just go and have a look to see. Yes, agree. Sometimes I want to say what needs to be said, but then I think, what happens if I piss people off? Yeah. I used to have that code big time. The good girl, the peacekeeper, the nice girl, doesn't want to upset and offend, just wants to be nice. Doesn't really cut it for me anymore. I'm here to be bold. Yeah, I'm here to be disruptive. I had to overcome that mindset in a major way in order to do that. Thank you, my loves. I'm excited. Tomorrow, I think we're going to do, and I will confirm, but my feeling is that we're going to do a live session on Zoom. because I had to cancel yesterday and I want to do this with you guys. It's going to be really powerful. So at 1 p.m. tomorrow, we're going to meet inside my Zoom room. I will record it. I will try and stream it, but I'm going to be playing music and sometimes Facebook kicks me off. So I will record it and send it, email it out afterwards. So please join me for that. We're going to be delving into writing for magnetism, but then blending that in with the co-writing alchemy session. Let me know if you can join me live. I would love to be with you in Zoom. If no one can join me live, well, then I will just do this through Facebook. So please let me know if you can be there. 1 p.m. Sydney time tomorrow. And please let me know if you would like to know more about any of the book projects. I'll be talking a bit more about that. Got 3 really beautiful book projects coming up next year. 1, Threshold, Stories of Initiation. This is going to be deeply diving into the mythological components of your journey. If you look at the title, I'll share the title, the cover, I'll share it in, because it's fucking beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's like all about mythology. It's all about like descending into the underworld. Why, like, what have you moved through? When have you gone down deep into the depths of your psyche, deep into the depths of your shadow? What have you transformed? What has been your threshold moment? The other one that we have is going to be for professionals who work in the pleasure space. So this book is going to be called Wild Eros, The Power of Pleasure. And this is all going to be about sex, about personal pleasure, about, you know, like alchemizing all of the sacral chakra, shadowy stuff. Really beautiful. And then the third book is going to be another professional one. It's going to be called Business Alchemy, the Entrepreneur's Guide to Monetizing Your Soul's Work. So if you work in that space of business where you help people to step into greater levels of success inside of their business, this would be a great opportunity for you too. But I'm going to be sharing a lot more about that. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.